Hey, let's talk about public speaking and why you really should actually do it and not wait any longer. This is a topic really important to me because when I started going to conferences, so not even speaking at conferences, but going to data conferences, I was really intimidated. I was intimidated by the amount of people at the conference. I was intimidated by the speakers. I thought these are the experts, these are my heroes, these are the people I learned so many things from. And I would have never believed that I could be part of them, that I could also be a speaker, that I could be on the same stage as they were. And that's mainly because I always thought I'm not that good. I'm not the expert. What can I add? And it took me quite some while and encouragement of different people to actually start public speaking. And once I started, it kind of never stopped because in the past 2.5 years, I've been speaking at so many conferences all around the world, and it has been the best experience. I've met so many great people, people that are enthusiastic about what they're doing, that are passionate about data, working with Power BI, working in data engineering, all these kind of things, and that really love what they're doing and also love to share what they're doing. I really love the vibe, and I'm really happy that I started, that I took this step and applied to speak. And because this was such a huge step for me, I want to share some advice with you about getting started and all the feelings you have when you think about public speaking. What I want to talk to you about is the expert myth. Really important. How you can overcome imposter syndrome, and also a little bit about imposter syndrome. Then how you can understand the audience and their expectations. Something about personal and professional growth that public speaking will bring. And of course, also some practical steps to start speaking. So after these first 4 points, if you think, yes, I want to do public speaking, I want to give you some advice. And people often tell me I'm not an expert. Why would anyone want to listen to me? Why would anyone join my session? I can't even talk for 1 hour. I don't have a topic and I have no clue what I'm doing. That's like all the arguments I always hear from really talented people, where I really 100% trust that if you would put them in front of an audience, they would be the perfect speakers, but they just have all these doubt and all these thoughts about why they maybe are not good enough. The thing is, you don't need to be an expert. Really, you don't need to be an expert. What you need to be is enthusiast, passionate. You need to love what you're doing and love to share information about it. And that you're not the expert about a topic, who cares? Like, at conferences, there are, at least at data conferences, there are always these different levels of sessions. So level 100, like introduction, level 200, 300, 400, expert, these kind of things. So it's perfectly okay to submit a level 100 session, an introduction. And yes, you can do that, because as long as you are passionate about a topic and you can tell some things about it, you can do that session. I never choose the sessions that I'm going to by the expertise of the speaker. I choose them because I think the topic is nice, the description is nice, or I've seen the speaker before, uh, and they seemed really enthusiastic and passionate, and that's what I care about. Because I rather listen to someone that's really passionate about what they're doing and not that experienced, than someone that's really bad at speaking and really boring and an expert. Like, really, I will always choose the passionate person. And another thing is the imposter syndrome. Like, everybody knows I have no experience. Everyone will see it. Like, there's some pop up above your head, like, no clue what I'm doing. Everyone feels like that. I think most speakers, if not all, have this imposter syndrome where you think everyone else knows what you're telling. You are not that special. You will not teach or inspire anyone. And I think that's kind of a normal feeling. I think it wouldn't be good if you would run around in the world and think I'm the best person and I have all the knowledge. It's good to have some self doubt. It's good to question if you are uh, giving it all, because it makes you also work on yourself. It also makes you work on yourself, and it helps you to improve. And the thing is, with imposter syndrome, you just need to push through. Even if you feel like everybody knows that I have no clue, you just will go on that stage and you will speak, and you will see that you will be fine. The audience wants you to succeed. I think there's almost no one in this data community that's going to conferences to see people fail. 99% and maybe even more go to conferences to just have a good time, learn some stuff, share some knowledge, meet some speakers, meet some other people, network, these kind of things. People really don't go there to hate on you or your session. And especially in the data community, I experienced such a strong community where people also care for each other. And I think people wouldn't even really get the room to do stuff like that. But most people, like I said, people are there because they're interested in what you're doing. They want to learn something, they want to get inspired, they just want to have a good time, and they want you to succeed. And this is something that's important. If you really struggle and you have this imposter syndrome and you think like, I can't do this, people just want you also to have a good time and to really enjoy what you're doing. Because once you're on that stage, you need to realize what an awesome work you're doing and how far you have gone out of your comfort zone to actually share some knowledge with others. And this also fits right with this topic. Speaking helps you to grow personally, but also professionally. And personally, I mean, it really gets you out of your comfort zone. You're doing the stuff you never probably would have thought you're doing. And there you are standing in front of that audience and sharing your knowledge. And you probably feel nervous and maybe even a little bit sick. And you don't know if you will really like it, but you do it. And that's so important. That makes you personally grow. It will show you what you are capable of. And it will also show you that something that seemed impossible a few months or years ago is actually possible. And also, there's of course this professional growth. Going to conferences and especially speaking at conferences will open the doors to meeting a lot of other professionals, other speakers, but also other people from the field. These people are all great. They have the same passion as you have. And it's awesome to have them around you. When you go to these conferences, these are the people that want to innovate. These are the people that want to do stuff and share knowledge. And I think that's really nice to have them around you. So if you think this is all really nice, but how can I get started? I want to give you some practical steps. First, I would start small. Um, Sign up to some local user group or some webinars, these kind of things. Of course, you can sign up to a huge conference as your first speaking opportunity. I mean, you can do that. I would suggest start small. Small audience makes it a lot easier to get started. If you want to know where are these speaking engagements in the data community, I will put a link in the description with a call for data speakers. There's a list, and I'm really grateful for that, where they put in almost all speaking opportunities in the data community. So that's awesome. And it's all around the world, so you can pick the one that's closest to you. And then the next step, of course, is submitting the proposal. And submitting the proposal can be quite tough because you just got all the courage to do it, the public speaking, and then you need to submit a proposal. And most of the time, you do that in Sessionize. It's well all these sessions are in, or almost all, and you need to give it a title and a description and these kind of things. And that can be tough because then you're confronted with, what am I going to talk about? And that can be really tricky. And I've seen people that wanted to do public speaking, they got all the courage, and then they stopped at the point where they actually had to submit a session because they were like, it's not perfect, all these self-doubts again. And what I personally do, I don't write really long descriptions about my sessions. I also provide some room for things to be added or to removed. That's just giving myself some space. And like I said, I keep it really general, like an overview of the idea that I want to talk about, rather than already putting in all the slides. Something else, like these practical steps, is if you're really insecure about, do I want to do this? Can I do this? Instead of speaking for a full hour, there are a lot of conferences where they also have 20 or 30-minute sessions. You can always submit a session like that. 20-minute sessions are a lot easier if you get started than a 1 hour session. And it can be really good to do a session together with someone else. So if you know someone that speaks, or someone that's already a little bit more experienced in speaking, you can always ask them if you can do a session together. It feels a little bit safer to be on stage together. To conclude this, and I really hope this inspires at least one or two people that are like, I'm not the expert, I don't know if I can do public speaking. You can. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. It will not appear. You will always probably doubt yourself. That's okay, that's human. And instead of waiting for this perfect moment, just start. You should always start when you're not completely ready yet. You should start when you not feel ready, because you will not get this feeling like, I'm ready, now I can apply. So just start, submit a session and try it and learn from it. And that's the most important, because probably your first session will not be your best session ever, and that's okay. And that's completely normal, because after this first session you will learn and you will improve the session. I've presented some of my sessions for 2.5 years now, and when I look at the first version of the session and the session that I'm presenting now, they're completely different. And that's good, because every time I presented the session, I got some feedback and I learned something from it, and that way it improved. The sessions would have never improved if I just would have waited for the perfect moment.